To the Town Board meeting and public hearing Thursday, July 21st. Please rise and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are behind the town clerk and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Supervisor Prodi?
Here.
Councilpersons Doyle? Here. Blackman?
Here.
Revelard?
Here.
And let the record reflect that Councilman Gutierrez will be absent this evening.
Okay, I make a motion to open the public hearing for helipad permit renewal. Is there a second?
Second. So close. Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Okay, is there any comment regarding the helipad permit renewal? If not, I make a motion to return to regular meeting and close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
And now we have a smart meter rollout presentation by NYSEG. If you want to introduce yourself, Dylan.
Of course. Thank you, Supervisor Parati, the town board clerk, everybody. My name is Dylan Miyoshi. I am the local program manager here in the Brewster Division for NYSEG for Government and Community Relations. And I am here today to talk to you about smart meters that will be getting installed. Next slide. So back in 2020, the New York Public Service Commission approved, after we advocated for alongside most of the supervisors here in the Brewster Division, to get these smart meters in. This is a proven concept that is used nationwide, including quite a few of our other companies. Next slide. So beginning in January 2023, we are going to take about the first 7 months of that year to complete smart metering in Dutchess, Putnam, and Westchester counties, which encompasses the Brewster Division. Next slide. So we're going to break this out into 4 phases: the north phase, the east phase, the south phase, and the west phase. The town of Amenia has the pleasure of being one of the very first towns to receive these smart meters in this area, and should be completed within 1 to 2 months once we begin. Next slide. So what to expect? You know, we've done this previously. Our company is owned by Avangrid, so we've done this with Central Maine Power previously, and we've done this in our Ithaca and parts of our Rochester division already. And one of the feedbacks that we got is, unfortunately, you know, there are those bad actors who try to take advantage of elderly populations when projects like these are going on, when they try to pose as utility companies. So in order to avoid that, we're going to make sure our meter technicians are wearing NYSEG gear. They have a NYSEG ID, and they have a NYSEG logo on their car. So for the electric meters, it is expected to have about a 10-minute outage while replacing the individualized meter in the home. Next slide, please. So we're going to be doing this during the weekday, Monday through Friday, about 8 to 4 p.m. And then we're going to do some Saturday hours as well. This is going to be more specifically for our commercial customers, to not impact business operations, as well as life support and critical facility customers in case they need to reschedule their prepared time. Next slide, please. So when having the meter replaced, as I mentioned, we will not take out these meters on any sort of life support equipment customer until we make contact with them. We actually have a team that's going to be specializing in connecting with them and making sure that they have a plan for those 10 minutes to ensure that, you know, any oxygen tanks or machines that they require are functional during those 10 minutes. And so for non-life support equipment customers, the rollout plan, about 3 weeks before we start the install, customers will receive a postcard in the mail going to the website nyseg.com/smartmeters, and we'll inform them in about 3 weeks' time that we will be coming to their door. So day of, when meters are being installed, our technician's going to knock on your door. If you're not home, we're just going to replace the meter and leave a door hanger saying your meter's been replaced. If, with the new work from home aspect of everyone's lives, we're also going to try to be as accommodating as possible. So if we knock on the door and someone's on a conference call and says, hey, can you give me 20 minutes? We'll try to do the other ones on the street and circle back. May not happen every time, but, we're going to do our best to accommodate them. Next slide, please. So you may or may not have started to see some of these start to pop up in Amenia. These photos here, this is creating a mesh network that does not require any cellular communication towers to ping off of, and these will allow us to ping the smart meters remotely every 15 minutes to get real-time data. And so between now and January, you probably will start to see these pop up, and these are very strategically placed to make sure there is 100% coverage in our mesh network. Next slide, please. So some of the benefits of these, probably the first and foremost, which is my personal favorite part of smart meters, is it eliminates estimated billing. So currently you get your bill, every other month. We try our best to do an actual reading and estimated reading. We know that doesn't always happen. This will allow us, as I mentioned, we can ping these remotely every 15 minutes. So about 15 minutes before your bill is produced, we'll ping your meter, we'll get that line, and be able to print your bill with the actual amount of energy usage. This also then prevents the need for customers to call in or email their meter numbers, which saves customer time. And then one of the more important things is it'll give us faster outage response time. And so what I mean by that is what a lot of people don't know currently with the analog the analog meters we currently have, we cannot tell if an individualized house has power or not. We can only tell you if the street has power. This will allow us to go down to the home level. And so, for example, if Main Street has power and 123 Main Street does not, we're able to decipher that, hey, may a tree hit the wire close to 123 Main Street. Let's send our technicians out there, find the problem, and it speeds up our outage response. Next slide, please. And so with this, it also comes with a lot of customer benefits. So our energy manager tool is going to be paired with our app and website. So when you type in your account, you'll be able to see a very similar graph to the one on the screen there. And so what that is, the gray bars are temperature, and the spiking bars are energy consumption. So days like today, there might be people running their pool pump for 8 hours today. They then have the power themselves to decipher if, hey, I want to run my pool pump for 4 hours and save that 4 hours of energy.
Is that real-time data? In other words, if I turn off my fan and then I turn it back on, can I see that change?
So that's ultimately going to be the goal, like that every 15 minutes at first while we're rolling this out, because we're going to be rolling this out statewide until 2025. We're just one of the first divisions to get smart meters. Eventually we're going to get to that point, but at first it's going to be probably like one day, you can see it daily. Okay. Next slide, please. And so, as I mentioned, the key is it's just knowledge is power. The more information the customer has, the bigger ability they have to make decisions that benefit them. And, they are able to, kind of find the pricing that works for them. And it gives them just a better understanding of estimated about what their bill's going to be every month. If I use X amount of energy, I should be paying X amount. Next slide, please. So right now we're in our elected official outreach stage. So we're going town to town, county by county, and state senator and state assembly member, and just going through the same PowerPoint that you're receiving today before we really roll this out publicly this fall. Next slide, please. So we're going to be doing one of these in each county, Dutchess County, Putnam County, and Westchester County. And Supervisor, I'll make sure you have the dates for all three for any residents that are interested in attending. And it's going to look very similarly to the room there with all the poster boards where people can walk around, and we'll have technical experts sitting in the middle where you can go ask one-on-one questions about the technology and everything involved with that. Next slide, please. We're also going to be doing local event participation, such as local community days, festivals, things like that. I know we're going to the Pound Ridge Fall Festival, and I think the Dutchess County Balloon Festival, and things like that, where people can just learn a little bit more about smart meters. Next slide, and just continuation of that. Next slide. And so that's the end of the presentation. I will make note, just because this has been a question that's been coming up, there is the ability for residents to opt out if they so choose. That does come with a $13.47 a month charge if they decide to opt out of this program. And I'm happy to take any questions.
You go
Go ahead.
first.
No, go ahead.
So polite here. What percentage would you say of meters is still indoors, and this program would not be moving them outside? It would just be adding a smart meter inside?
Correct. So if you currently have a meter inside, it is just essentially us taking the old meter out and putting the new meter in.
Okay.
In terms of how many we have, I'm not sure how many we actually have in the Brewster division. That seems to be more of a prevalent issue up in Rochester and Binghamton, kind of the inner city homes have that more often than down here.
Okay. Go ahead.
I would just reiterate my interest in the real-time data, in that, like you said, the more information a customer has, the more they can find meaningful ways to reduce their energy use. And every day I think, well, if I unplug my cell phone charger, completely from the wall, if I unplug everything while I'm gone at work, then, how much does that save me? Is that meaningful, or should I turn off the fans, or how much is that dehumidifier adding to my bill, or the heater in the mudroom, whatever it is? There's so many variables that we could do, but it's hard to know for sure which one's pulling,
Of course.
what choices we should make. So that's my first thing. If you want feedback, that's my feedback. I love real-time data, so you know what you're doing. The next thing is that at the beginning of 2022, there were some really surprisingly large bills that came down the pike. All of us found an amazingly high bill. Can you explain what happened in that scenario?
Yeah. Of course. So on a person's electricity bill, there are two sections. So there's the deliverable rate and the supply rate. So the deliverable rate, that is something that is negotiated with the New York State Public Service Commission, and that is where NYSEG makes its money. Yeah. So that is something that is done give or take every 3 years. For example, we just submitted one in May. And so now we are going through an 11-month process with the New York State Public Service Commission that will include, hearings and testimonials, and we're negotiating with them. Typically, it gets we submit as a 1-year plan, and it gets negotiated over the course of 3 years. And so that is the deliverable rate.
And so is that what you?
So that stays the same, except every May there's a slight increase, typically based on agreements with the Public Service Commission. What you're speaking about is the commodity supply pricing. And so that is something that we just transfer to the customer. That is, we do not make a cent on the supply rate. That was due to, quite a few unfortunate factors. I think we all are going to the grocery store currently and gas stations, and, realized all these prices are going up. It's the same thing. So what happened, one of the biggest factors was the Russian-Ukraine war, because what was happening was European nations, they would purchase their gas from Russia. They all took a pledge not to do that once the war broke out. and then they started coming into other marketplaces where companies like Avangrid and NYSEG and RG&E purchase theirs, which caused the New York ISO price to skyrocket. And so, you know, instead of paying 6-7 cents per kilowatt, you know, people were paying 13-14 cents per kilowatt, and that's what caused the spike in bill.
All right, so we can expect when the energy prices theoretically level out to more normal historical rates, can we expect that number to go down?
So on our website, we have a helpful tool, and I can send the supervisor the link. You can actually see the daily supply rate. And so when your bill is generated, we take the average of 30 days. So some days your energy charge is 2 cents per kilowatt.
Okay.
Other days it's 20 cents per kilowatt, and it takes whatever that average is in your bill, you know, month. So that's why, you know, people were saying, you know, one person had a $300 bill, another person had a $750 bill. It just depends on their billing cycle.
All right, that makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate you taking the time to explain that, because it hit a lot of people at a very hard time because they were suffering from the high energy costs themselves, and then to also find their electric bill, which has been normally fairly stable, suddenly also.
Absolutely, and if
Skyrocket.
they reach out to us, we can certainly work with them with budget billing. You know, if they qualify for other programs, we can assist there. But you know, we during that process, we did do a lot of budget billing here in Dutchess County for residents because yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a factor we can't control. It's a factor the customer can't control. So you know, we are doing our best to work with customers.
Okay, this is my last question.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
You can,
No, it's usually me.
I'm pretty
There's a
sure
lot
this
of
is my
extra.
last
you can
question.
ask as many questions as you
But,
want. That's why he's
That's why I'm
here.
here.
That's
Ask
why
away.
he's here.
Oh, I have a lot more questions, but my personal one will go directly to the technical person who needs to answer my personal question. But this is about community solar. I'm a liaison with Brad to the Conservation Advisory Council for our town, and we are part of a climate smart communities. We are a climate smart community, and we have a task force, and the CAC is pushing forward. One of their goals is to sign up 10 people for community solar.
Okay.
And that is that a program you're familiar with?
So are you referring to like a CDG program or a separate ESCO?
It is community solar, and I don't know which of those categories it
Okay.
falls into, but I believe it's NYSERDA that is producing these opportunities for residents to save on their electrical supply.
Okay, so
that's like 5 to 10%. Some even offer like 20% off the cost of your electrical supply, and that is one way you could get. I'm getting $5, $6 credit on my account because I'm with Delaware Sun River Solar or whatever it is. It's a solar farm in Orange County, but NYSEG agrees to purchase our electricity from the solar farm and give a discount to residents.
Yep.
And that is to promote clean energy, right? So the state has to meet its goals. So the more residents who go out there and help support these solar farms in areas that are appropriate, that solves the New York State's goal, while the residents also participate who may not otherwise be able to afford the solar panels on their house. So you can get 10% off right now today if you sign up for community solar. But please don't do that. You can do it through the CAC, or at least let us know, and then we can track that and get credit and then put in our own, you know, we can get grants.
But that's on
because
the
we
bill.
So
get credit.
you touched on both topics, actually, so if you'd like, I can explain kind of both a little bit.
Okay.
So the CGG program is when you purchase from your Orange County solar farm and you receive that credit monthly. So actually, additional benefit to the smart meter program is we are updating our billing system to match the one we have in Maine with the smart meters, and that's went very well. And that actually will automatically generate the CDG credit because currently the way our system is, we actually have to manually input it. And over the last 5 years, we went from, 200 people to, almost 32,000.
That are taking advantage of community
Yeah,
solar?
statewide.
Wow, that's
and
very
so,
Very good.
So that's a great program. And then in terms of an ESCO, a lot of CCAs do that, like Sustainable Westchester, for example, right off the top of my head. They partner with an ESCO and...
You want to explain what that is so people know?
Oh, sure. So an ESCO is a supply rate from so NYSEG serves as your supplier of last resort. And what that means is when you... if you do not sign up for an ESCO or anything like that, that means you get your supply from us. You can go out into the marketplace and work with an ESCO and get locked into a price. Sometimes it is cheaper, sometimes it is more expensive, it depends.
But it's another company other than NYSEG that
Correct,
provides
but your bill
electricity.
still comes all together from that ESCO. So you sign up with the ESCO reaches out to NYSEG, and then the NYSEG generates the bill. So I think it just adds an extra 2 pages to your bill packet that you receive. So, for example, I'll use, I believe in the town of Somers, they did a partnership with Sustainable Westchester, and they locked in their residents at 8 cents for normal supply and 10 cents for green supply. And that was a decision the town board came together and did. So that is an option. You're allowed to do that. There's a whole list of ESCOs on our website that work with NYSEG. I will say, please read the fine print on those, because sometimes they offer, we'll offer you 3 cents for 3 months, and then next thing you know, you're paying 15 cents. So just, please make sure to read the fine print on all of those.
I will just mention, since I have the microphone and we're talking about this and people are thinking about that, is that Stacy is Stacy Mantle is part of our CAC, and she's been charged with looking into this. So she has 3 or 4 companies that she's done all the fine print reading, because I did read through it, and it took me half a day to figure out, because you sign up for a contract for 20 years, but there's no cost for breaking your contract. So there's, what's the point of the contract? There's no downside, I can tell you, to the ones that I chose. Blue Wave turned into Delaware Sun River Solar. So I just can't tell you that how important it is to, first of all, help green energy take place in our state, in our country, and then how nice it is to get a credit on your bill, because there's no really other way that I know of to lessen your bill.
Absolutely, and from our perspective, we're always here. We're going to supply you. As I mentioned, we don't make a dime off it, so we don't have an opinion either way. We've seen really amazing ESCOs. We've seen bad actor ESCOs. So, if you're reading the fine print.
But the solar companies aren't ESCOs, are they?
So those are the CGG credits. So,
Okay, so
yeah.
you're talking about the CDG, not the ESCOs.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about community solar.
Yeah, that's the solar is the
what
CDG.
What is down the road,
It's
I
two
don't
separate
know.
tracks,
It's two
but more than
separate tracks.
happy to work offline with you, Councilwoman, and try to give you a direction for both if you need the resources or anything.
But just to be clear, the CDGs are the solar companies.
CGG are the separate solar companies, correct?
Okay.
Go ahead, Brad.
So one example of an ESCO is Ambient Energy, for example.
That sounds correct. Yeah.
Yeah, they're bailing on New York State. I just got a notice. No longer going to be offering.
Yeah, it's, as I said, there's good ones and there's
Yeah.
some bad ones. I know Westchester uses, I think it's called LEGO, and that seems to go pretty well. And then, but there's a whole list on our website of ones that you can look at and reach out, and it's a free capitalistic marketplace, so people are allowed to go find the best deal.
I have a question about your mesh network.
Yep.
I couldn't really tell from the photographs. Are we talking about new poles, or are we talking about adapting old poles, adding something to them?
So, yeah, if you could just go back, appreciate it. So these are poles that are currently standing. This is
Okay.
just us attaching these nodes on the poles themselves. That middle one's the best example. You know, I've started to see some come up, and, you know, we've gotten questions of, hey, what is this thing? It's lower than everything else. Is this safe? You know, things like that. But that's what it is. It's a mesh network for us to be able to ping.
Okay,
our
and
smart
how high up is that, just out of curiosity, so I know it when I see it?
I don't have an exact height, but I'd say probably maybe a foot or two taller than myself.
Okay,
You know, probably
great.
7-8 feet.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from anyone? Well, thank you very much for coming, Dylan.
No problem. Thank you.
And doing the presentation and answering questions.
Appreciate it, and anyone that needs to reach me, supervisor knows how to track me down very
Oh, I
easily.
sure do.
So, have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, public comment, Deirdre?
Good evening, Deirdre Houston, Dutchess County Legislator. Nice to see you all this evening. I just wanted to come and give you an update on a few items coming from the county. Last Monday was our monthly legislative meeting, and if you guys remember, in the fall of 21, I came talking to you about the Learn, Play, Create grant that we funded that was very successful, and many youth organizations were granted some funds for their organizations. We've been made aware that some of the veterans organizations like the VFWs, the American Legions, during COVID weren't able to rent out their spaces, which they had done in the past, and it was a way for them to raise funds for their individual organizations. So in the spirit of the Learn, Play, Create grant, we are going to be launching a veterans micro grant. It will be targeted $5,000 to $15,000, and we're going to launch it in the very near future. It's been funded, and I will certainly be reaching out to local veterans organizations here in Amenia just to let them know about the grant program. And it's the same as Learn, Play, Create in the sense that it's a simple one-page application, funds available, quick turnaround, you know, released in batches, but not a certain date that's, you know, long into the future. So the idea is to get the money in the community working where the veterans can use the money. So I just want to let you know we're excited about that. The municipal innovation grants that were targeted for fire departments will be announced tomorrow, and so fingers crossed. I know that the Amenia Fire Department put a grant in, and so fingers crossed if they get funded tomorrow, we'll find out. At our monthly meeting, based on recommendations from the Dutchess County Farmland Protection Board, we did our annual review, and we have a few more parcels in the agricultural district. And they're looking to revamp that system next year. Instead of having 3 or 4 agricultural districts for the county, there'll just be 1 ag district for the county moving forward. And I believe next year is the 8-year review, which is the big year where every parcel gets looked at to make sure that they still qualify for the ag district. Next week, on July 27th, County Executive Molinaro, Legislator Sagliano, and myself will be hosting a town hall at the Pleasant Valley Town Hall specific to questions from constituents and residents in the county about Camp New Teaming. I know that I mentioned you guys last time or earlier that the county purchased Camp New Teaming, which is a large Boy Scout camp on Davis Road in Pleasant Valley. And so there's been a lot of questions about how that pertains to youth and what we can do there. So we're going to host a town hall if anyone's interested. And then the other calendar item I have is August 6th at Camp New Teaming. The county is hosting a veterans barbecue. They'll have live music, and they're calling it Red, White, and You, and it's Veteran Plus One. It's a free barbecue, and you have to RSVP to that. It's from 11 to 3 on August 6th, and you have to RSVP by July 27th. And the RSVP is dutchessny.gov/Veterans Picnic. And just lastly, our normal legislative meeting, monthly meeting in August is going to be delayed 2 weeks, and we are hosting it to open the Dutchess County Fair. So it'll be the Monday night before the fair opens at the fair.
All right.
And then just want to see if you guys have any questions or needs from me.
No,
Okay,
I
great.
guess not. Thanks for reporting.
yeah, thanks for coming.
Yep, thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Okay. Supervisors report. Highway Garage, selection of engineering firm to do feasibility study. We'll be doing that this evening. CDBG Route 44 sidewalk grant. Labella engineer Joe Facillo is reviewing bids for completeness. NYSEG, the AMI smart meter rollout presentation was just at the town board meeting. Rebuilding Together Dutchess County, cost-free home repair and safety modifications application period this year is June 1st through August 31st, 2022. Applications are available on the table as you come into the town hall. Wassaic Trail to the Train lighting, in-ground lighting for safety of people walking from the train station to the hamlet is being researched by the town engineer. American Rescue Plan funds, second payment of $225,589.06 will be sent in August. Town of Amenia COVID-19. Amenia town offices are open Monday through Thursday. The building department is also open on Fridays. Masks are requested and are available in an envelope on the second set of doors. Signing the visitor log is required. COVID-19 test kits and KN95 masks are available in the secretary to the supervisor and town clerk's office. Amenia Library also has COVID-19 test kits. COVID-19 vaccine information. Homebound vaccine appointments can be made by calling 845-486-2555. COVID-19 vaccine and booster shots are available at Amenia Drugs. Call for appointment 845-373-8000. CVS pharmacies go online to schedule an appointment. Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J vaccines are available at the JCPenney site at the Poughkeepsie Galleria. Visit www.dutchessny.gov/COVID vaccine for expanded clinic dates and times and to make an appointment. COVID-19 testing is also available at this site. Town clerk report.
Good evening. We received an email earlier this week from Jim Wright, who is tendering his resignation as the chairman to the wastewater committee. So I'm just looking for the board to accept that until their next meeting, and then we'll be notified of their chair.
I'll make a motion that we accept with regret James Wright's position on the wastewater committee
As chair.
As chair.
as chair.
I'll second that.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
And Revelard?
Yes.
Also acknowledging that we were circulated earlier this week via email was our balance sheets and our operating statement ending June 30th of 2022. And also with that being circulated out this evening, and our vouchers for the month for general fund. I'm presenting to the board those that have been audited and reviewed and are submitting to the supervisor for payment in the total amount of this month of $126,315.15, and the breakdown is as follows. General fund, $85,562.36. Highway fund, $29,743.29. Amenia lighting, $769.15. Wassaic lighting, $287.96. Amenia water, $9,952.39, for a total on this abstract, $126,315.15. Looking for authorization for the supervisor to pay claims.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Yes.
Blackman and Revelard.
Yes.
Posted in the Millerton News, on our website, our bulletin board. It's on Channel 22. We've talked about it a lot. We do currently have an open position for a part-time secretary a temporary part-time secretary in our building department, so I am currently accepting applications for that, as well as posted in our Millerton News, if anyone has had the opportunity to see it in the area and brief, that we are looking for volunteers here in the town of Amenia. We have the unexpired term on the Board of Assessment Review, 2 alternate Zoning Board of Appeals members, 2 wastewater committee members, 1 unexpired term for the recreation, 1 town historian position, 2 CAC members. I mean, the list seems to keep going on, and I just love to give, I know there's a lot of you watching, and I just want you to know that the board is always looking for new creative, fun ideas on our committees and our commissions, and that starts with each of you. So the comments that we get to see and read all about on Facebook, come on in, you know, fill out an application, join one of our committees, commissions, or boards, and you know, put those thoughts and ideas down, and let's try to make things really happen and focus and turn things around. So really, it's all of us working together as a team and putting our efforts in. So I'm just reminding everybody, those emails, you just send them to townclerk@ameniany.gov. Deadline we did set for next Thursday, so that way I can have the opportunity to schedule your interview with the town board looking for the first week of August. So please put in your volunteer applications. If not, you just get to hear me continue to talk about it until we get them filled. So
It's quite a threat, though.
I know, like, do you want to keep hearing me talk about it? But we do have open positions, and I really want everybody to take part. The more helping hands, it makes the work that much, you know, lighter on our backs. So together as a team, we can do it. Talking about, you know, working together with our rec, we also have Michelle. Michelle Smoji was one of our council persons, and even though she was no longer a council person, she's still continuing to give those helping hands with our senior trips. So one of the announcements that she's asked for me to share with each of you is that our coming senior trip and our barbecue is full. So that's great. So I know we're all coming to those activities. So I know there's folks out there watching, because we were able to fill those open seats. So I'm really trying to fill those seats. So if anyone knows anyone or wants to throw their name in that hat, give us a call. Also in our packets this evening, and I know they're on the agenda, but I am acknowledging receipt and circulation of the SEBI Environmental Services Report for the month of June. Our June report does indicate the total number of gallons that was used. He indicates the number of calls, water line markouts, emergency responses, and any other assignments that he's had. It's a pretty simple report this month. I hope everyone's had the opportunity to review. Also in our packets this evening from the Building Inspector Code Enforcement Officer, Mike Segelkin, submitted for the month of June. Total amount income is $20,291. Also indicating on here on the bottom that there were 2 violations that were issued for the month of June, and that detailed breakdown is within that packet. Also, I find our highway report has been circulated to each of us this evening. In our packets, and we've been busy with the town. This is submitted by Megan Chamberlain, our highway superintendent. They've been busy with the town's share paver, helping the town of Northeast Highway Department, and in August they'll be doing some paving here to help town of Northeast. They're scheduling to start sealing the town roads with Beckham Materials Corp. Out of Brewster. She's also started some winter sand hauled in to fill up our pile at the garage. They've been doing some black top patching, cutting shoulders, truck repairs, and maintenance. And today they finished another round of mowing, and that's respectfully being submitted by Megan. Don't have a rec report, but that would be all the other reports that are listed this evening.
I have a question.
Sure, if I can.
On the SEBI. So it has the monthly usage of gallons of water. And then under that is 62.2 and 61.6. I've just been mystified. Is that 62% of our capacity, or is that 62, what is that? 62.1 in May and 61.6.
Assuming you know the answer, of course.
I should know the answer. I don't know the answer. I was puzzled about it last time and forgot to ask. So I have a question about what that should be under total gallons as to what those numbers refer to.
This is submitted directly from our vendor. So I would encourage an email to him, or on his next time he's here to present, I would,
All right, nobody else knows?
I'm sorry.
Nobody else knows what the 62 and 61, okay.
No, but what I'll do is tell him to actually
Write it in.
no, just
Tell us
put
what he's saying.
underneath total gallons, just put,
Exactly. Well,
What
there's
it
a
is.
line there for it, it just isn't filled in.
Right.
okay.
I just read it so the public knows that we do have monthly reports from each of our departments. I just, sorry, can't help you.
Is there a Recreation Commission report?
In our, unless you
Are
have
there
it.
any other committee reports?
I have one for CAC, which met last night. We met by Zoom. Stacy is our new local champion. She was selected as one of 9 people in 6 counties in the Hudson Valley, so we're very lucky. Our community has been awarded a local champion, and so Stacy Mantle, a member of our CAC, is going to be putting in 10 hours a week, working towards our climate smart energy goals, and we're going to do a meet and greet August 2nd. I'll be filling in as her liaison to the town board, so she's going to be doing a lot of research about things like I'd already spoken to you about community solar projects and researching which ones are the best deal for community Amenia residents. She's a resource that will be dogging our own, benchmarking our own usage here at the town hall. We've insulated, we've put in UV lights. We now need to get credit for doing some of these great projects, and we'd have to go back in time in, prior to insulating, prior to putting in the UV lights, what was our energy usage? I know from being a town board member for quite some time, our heating costs, we used to budget $50,000. We're now budgeting around $30,000, as I recall. Is that sound accurate? So just in my own mind, I know that double pane windows have made a difference in the first floor of this, and adding a new energy efficient heating system has made a difference. I know our lighting costs have come down, but we need to get credit for that. And all the LED streetlights that we've converted from regular streetlights to LED have been an incredible significant savings to the town, but you have to quantify it and you have to put it in a spreadsheet and you have to upload it to a community portal. So Stacy is doing what volunteers month to month can't get done given their normal workload. So we're incredibly lucky. We're going to do this meet and greet August 2nd, and we're going to start looking at relevant actions for the town of Amenia on August 9th, and that is to get Amenia to this bronze certification, which then allows us to get grants for doing additional clean energy projects like putting in additional, car charging stations or whatever, lots of projects that the town could use to do the upstairs floors on double painting our windows, whatever projects that are high on Amenia's list. We're going to do a press release that will tell the community more about what the Local Champions program provides. There, like Dawn Marie said, we have 2 spots on the CAC. So if you're interested in joining us, that would be great. We meet on the 3rd Wednesday of every month at 7 o'clock here at Town Hall, if COVID isn't raging. Otherwise by Zoom, and we also need Climate Smart Task Force volunteers. So if you don't actually want to be part of a committee and you just want to hone in on clean energy, that we could use your help. And Stacy is working with people now just who are focused on that project.
Vicki, do you know how many people are sought for that?
Task Force? We'll take anybody at this point. Yeah?
I didn't mean their qualifications, I meant a number. Is there something in mind?
I don't know that there is a maximum or minimum, but I know like Town of Northeast has got a robust,
Yes, very
it's
busy.
bigger than their CAC, and our CAC should be 7 members, I believe. So it can be quite a bit. I know Dover's very active. I've gone to some of their meetings and they are off the charts. They got their bronze certification a while ago, but they had somebody like Stacy dogging those details, putting together a complete energy audit of their town. It was impressive. So the sky's the limit. We're starting from scratch, but we're in a good place right now to make some progress. We have 5 people already signed up for community solar, so we've met half of our goal already. We need 10 to get X amount of points, which, like I said, translate eventually into grants to the town. We're putting together a booth. There's a block party in Wassaic on Saturday from noon until like 10 p.m. But we're going to be, Stacy and I will take turns promoting community solar at Borden Park on the picnic tables just across from Maxim Mills. So if you want more information, she can tell you more about all the research that she's done to make it easy for you to sign up.
That's this Saturday?
Yep, a block party at, hosted by Wassaic Project.
What time?
It starts at noon and goes until 10 p.m. That's all I have for CAC. Thank you. Oh, wait, I was supposed to read something. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Leo, do you have anything? For any of the committees?
Shockingly, no.
Okay. This is from Stacy. She's been doing her homework. She wanted me to read this as part of our record. The Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, Climate Act, charged the Climate Justice Working Group with the development of criteria to identify disadvantaged communities to ensure that frontline and otherwise underserved communities benefit from the state's historic transition to cleaner sources of energy, reduced pollution and cleaner air, and economic opportunities. Amenia has been designated as a disadvantaged community. The State Department of Environmental Conservation is committed to meeting or exceeding the requirements of the Climate Act with respect to disadvantaged communities, that disadvantaged communities receive at least 35% of the benefits of spending on clean energy and energy-efficient programs, with the goal of 40%. One new project involves municipally owned electric vehicle charging stations, as well as municipally owned electric fleet vehicles. For ZEV infrastructure within a disadvantaged community, no match is required, regardless of the municipality's median household income. Given this important objective of the Climate Act, 40% of the available funds for this round will be prioritized for projects in disadvantaged communities. The application deadline is September 30th. That's all I have.
Okay, I should, report on the ones that I'm liaison to very briefly. So the Housing Board is very busy. They're organizing an event next Saturday, which is, don't tell me, July 30th at Town Hall in the gym from 10 a.m. to noon. And a lot of what they're going to be asking people to be involved in is there's going to be a very brief introduction of why we need affordable housing here. The Hudson River Housing, who we've been working with for a long time, has actually purchased a property in Amenia, so it looks like we're going to be moving towards actually having housing for people who work in Amenia and can't afford to live here, is the general idea. So if people attend that, they can have some input and make their voice heard in terms of what their feelings are about housing for everyone in Amenia. And it's 2 hours, and I think there's snacks.
Definitely snacks.
Definitely snacks.
Coffee and cinnamon rolls.
Ooh,
So-
okay.
Or
Very
something
nice.
like that. Yeah.
And the wastewater committee is also kind of moving ahead. Wastewater committee has reviewed the feasibility study from the wastewater engineer, and they're going to be presenting, or she is going to be presenting their findings our second meeting in August.
Yeah, August 18th.
Okay, August 18th. So people might be interested in attending that and getting sort of the first information about the proposed wastewater system. They've looked at alternatives for what type of system it is. They've made a preliminary map for the wastewater district. And so I think all of that stuff would be part of her presentation. So people who are interested in that and who live kind of towards the center of Amenia or who are in the water district, I think would find a lot of interesting information. I don't think there are going to be snacks at that, though, are there, Victoria?
I don't know.
Okay, just checking.
Is that a hint for me to bake? I need to bake something?
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, I can bake, that's all right. Okay, if there are no more committee reports, resolution number?
51.
Resolution approving application of Bel Air Farm Incorporated for a renewal of an airfield permit. Whereas local law number 5 of 2001 entitled Airfield Prohibition, as amended by local law number 2 of 2002, provided that certain pre-existing airfields may be continued in use on conditions set forth in sections 4 and 5 of the Airfield Prohibition Law. Whereas by resolution number 22, 2002, dated November 21st, 2002, the town board granted an airfield permit to Bel Air Farm Incorporated, authorizing the continued use of the existing airfield on its property known as parcel 696700983502, Bel Air Farm Road in the town of Amenia, New York. FAA National Flight Data Center Location Identifier NY46. Whereas by resolution number 39 of 2007, the town board granted the application for renewal of Bel Air's airfield permit, authorizing continued use of the facility for a term of 5 years, such term to expire on November 20th, 2012, subject to renewals provided in the Airfield Prohibition Law. And whereas by resolution number 6 of 2012, the town board adopted local law number 1 of 2012 so as to amend the town code by adding section 121-46.1 entitled Airfield Prohibition. Whereas section 121-46.1 of the town code provides that as to existing airfields, an existing airfield may continue to be used after the effective date of this section if it complies with and meets the requirements of subsection C and D. Whereas by resolution number 35 of 2012, the town board granted the application of Bel Air Farm Incorporated for renewal of its airfield permit, authorizing the continued use of its helipad facility. Said permit to expire on November 20, 2017. And whereas by resolution number 29 of 2017, the town board granted the application of Bel Air Farm Incorporated for renewal of its airfield permit, authorizing the continued use of its helipad facility. Permit to expire on November 20th, 2022. Whereas Bel Air Farm Incorporated has timely submitted an application for renewal of its airfield permit in accordance with Town Code Section 121-46.1 D2, namely within 6 months prior to expiration of its existing permit, and has attested by Honora Byrne, President of Bel Air Farm Incorporated, in a letter dated June 8, 2022, that since the granting of the permit, Bel Air Farm Incorporated has operated the airfield in compliance with the application rules and regulations of the town and any regulatory body having jurisdiction over such an airfield. Whereas attorney to the town, Ian C. Linders, Esquire, has made inquiry to the New York State Department of Transportation, Aviation Bureau, Albany, New York, on June 14, 2022, and has been advised that such Aviation Bureau is not aware of any non-compliance by Bel Air Farm Incorporated with applicable rules and regulations with respect to said helipad facility. Whereas the town attorney has made inquiry to the town's Building Inspector Code Enforcement Officer on June 14, 2022, and has been advised that the town's CEO is not aware of any non-compliance by Bel Air Farm Incorporated with application rules and regulations. Whereas Bel Air Farm Incorporated has provided to the town attorney, as part of its application for renewal of its airfield permit, its certificate of registration as a general aviation airport from the New York State Department of Transportation for the registration period August 1st, 2020 to July 31st, 2023, and has submitted its written security plan to the Department of Transportation and to the local law enforcement agencies having jurisdiction over its airfield facility, the New York State Police and the New York State Office of Homeland Security, all in accordance with Section 14M, Airport Security of the New York State Transportation Law. Whereas it appears to the town board that 1, the airfield use commenced more than 15 years prior to the effective date of Section 121-41.2, 2, prior to December 31st, 2002, the town board issued an airfield permit authorizing the continued operation of the airfield pursuant to Town of Amenia Local Law Number 5 of 2001. 3, the airfield has been continuously operated without abandonment since the issuance of the airfield permit by the town board and approval by the Commissioner of the New York State Department of Transportation pursuant to Section 249 of the General Business Law. And 4, property owner applicant has timely applied to the town board for renewal of its airfield permit prior to the expiration of the previously issued permit on November 20th, 2022, has provided a current certificate of registration from the New York State Department of Transportation for operation as a general aviation airport. The owner has not transferred ownership of the subject property, and inquiries to the town code enforcement officer in the New York State Department of Transportation Aviation Bureau have not revealed any noncompliance with applicable rules and regulations of the town or any regulatory bodies having jurisdiction over the operation of the airfield. Whereas the town board has invited members of the public to provide comment on the renewal application of Bel Air Farm Incorporated at a public hearing held on July 21st, 2022, present evidence of any instances in which the applicant has failed to operate the airfield in compliance with the applicable rules and regulations of the town or any regulatory body having jurisdiction over the operation of such airfield. Whereas in the time provided by the town board for public comment or the submission of evidence, the town board has not received any information suggesting that the applicant has failed to operate the airfield in compliance with the applicable rules and regulations of the town or any regulatory body having jurisdiction over the operation of the airfield. Whereas the approval and renewal of such airfield permit is a Type 2 under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, namely a permit renewal where there will be no material change in the permit conditions or the scope of the permitted activities, 6 NYCRR 617.5C 32, and therefore is not subject to seeker review. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, the recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. 2, that the application of Bel Air Farm Incorporated for renewal of its airfield permit authorizing the continued use of the facility is hereby granted. The term of such renewal permit to expire on November 20th, 2027, with said permit to be eligible for renewal as provided by the town code. 3, that this resolution shall take effect immediately. I make that motion.
I'll second it because I have some comments, as usual. My concern here, which I said not very well at the last meeting, but I did a little more research today with the New York State DOT Aviation Bureau, is that the resolution refers to not having basically broken any rules, but the town doesn't have any rules for airports except that we can't have them. So it doesn't really make me feel very secure knowing that the not breaking rules, according to the building inspector, there are no rules for Amenia that govern an airport.
Actually, they answer to a much higher authority.
God.
No, the FFA National Flight Data Center and the Department of Transportation, which were both mentioned in the resolution.
I was
Okay.
pretty sure we covered that at the last meeting. I thought we covered that quite well at the last
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah.
I mean, they answer, they answer to them.
Well, the Aviation Bureau, in their establishment of or improvement to privately owned airports in New York State, gives a list of questions that the applicant would respond to would provide answers to the town board about. And because this was pre-existing, I don't think we have the answers to any of those questions. And my specific concern is how many helicopters are allowed to land per day and how many per year. And my concern is just that, it would certainly be possible to let other people land on that space. And in light of the fact that we had a number of illegal helicopter landings in the past year, I don't think it's unreasonable to wonder, whether someone else might want to use that and whether that could be taken advantage of. So that's my question.
I can just, from my own understanding of that neighborhood for so many years, is that this is a very private, very large estate, and I don't think they are going to want any additional. It's for very specific use and has never been abused in all those years. So Smithfield would be very sensitive to that kind of thing, but I know exactly why they have that, and it's not an unusual, it's a very unusual thing, I would think. It's been utilized in a way that works for that area.
Good to know.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revillard?
Yes.
Okay. We post it on our website on Monday.
Resolution number 52 of 2022, reappointing town constable. Whereas the town board of the town of Amenia adopted a town constable local law number 3 of 2007 on September 20th, 2007, which established the powers and duties and the minimum training and certification requirements for the position of constable within the town of Amenia. Whereas the town of Amenia constables shall be required prior to performing any services for the town of Amenia to satisfactorily complete 1, the Department of Criminal Justice basic course for peace officers, 2, any other courses required by law or regulation to serve as a peace officer in the state of New York. Whereas the town board seeks to appoint Jose L. Caraballo as town constable to perform the duties of constable as set forth in the town code for the calendar year 2022 at a salary of $15.50 per hour for 20 hours per week commencing on August 1st, 2022. Whereas Jose L. Caraballo is not authorized to carry or use a weapon until the town receives confirmation that the town constable has satisfactorily completed the training courses specified in the town code and such other and additional training and instruction as town board may direct its discretion. Whereas constable is a part-time position in a non-competitive class pursuant to the rules for the classified civil service of Dutchess County. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth are incorporated in this resolution as fully set forth and adopted herein, that Jose L. Caraballo is hereby appointed to the position of constable part-time, the town of Amenia for the calendar year 2022 with the powers and duties set forth in the town code subject to the restrictions set forth in the resolution, that the salary for the position will be $15.50 per hour for 20 hours per week commencing on August 1st, 2022, or the town constable shall execute and file in the office of the clerk of Dutchess County an official undertaking condition for the faithful performance of his duties before entering upon the duties of his office as required by town law. 5, that the town supervisor and town bookkeeper to the supervisor are hereby authorized and directed to file any and all documentation necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution. Is there a motion?
I was going to second because I'm usually the guy who seconds, but I'll make a motion that we...
I'll second.
Very good.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
And Revillard?
Yes.
There's a second one that I see that was circulated to us via email, but it wasn't hard copied. It's the exact same resolution with the exception of a change of name. There's a second constable.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Ian,
Is there another one?
there is supposed to be 2.
Yeah,
It
there's
was
2
part of the emails.
Yeah, there's 2 constables. For some reason, it was not printed in the packets, but there is a second constable that is being, The resolution is
Do you
slightly
have it?
different.
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you.
But it was part of the email. Sorry.
Yeah, you have the information for that person.
And their application is, the second individual's application is within our packets tonight.
Okay. So that would be 53.
Yes.
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia adopted a Town Constable Local Law Number 3 of 2007 on September 20th, 2007, which established the powers and duties and the minimum training and certification requirements for the position of constable within the Town of Amenia. Whereas the Town of Amenia constable shall be required prior to performing any services for the Town of Amenia to satisfactorily complete the Department of Criminal Justice Basic Service for Peace Officers. Any other courses required by law or regulation to serve as peace officer in the state of New York. Whereas the Town Board seeks to appoint Christopher M. Simmons as Town Constable to perform the duties of constable as set forth in the Town Code for the calendar year 2022 at a salary of $15.50 per hour for 20 hours per week commencing on August 1st, 2022. Whereas constable is a part-time position in the non-competitive class pursuant to the rules for the classified civil service of Dutchess County. Whereas pursuant to the Town Constable Local Law Number 3 of 2007, the Town Board may adopt a resolution authorizing a constable to carry a firearm or carrying out their official duties, subject to the constable complying with noted conditions. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as fully set forth and adopted herein, that Christopher M. Simmons is hereby appointed to the position of constable part-time for the Town of Amenia with the powers and duties set forth in the Town Code for the calendar year 2022. 3, that the salary for the position will be $15.50 per hour for 20 hours per week, commencing on August 1st, 2022. That the Town Board hereby authorizes Christopher M. Simmons to carry the firearm identified below while carrying out his official duties as Town Constable. Firearm is S&W M&P 40 caliber. 5, that the authority granted to Christopher M. Simmons by this resolution shall be subject to his compliance with the following conditions. 1, the Town Constable must satisfactorily complete the Department of Criminal Justice Services basic course for peace officers, such other training as the Town Board and New York State law may require. 2, the Town Constable must possess the New York State license to carry the authorized firearm pursuant to Penal Law Section 400. At all times, they must keep proof of such license on file in the Town Hall. 3, the Town Constable may only carry or use a weapon after the town receives confirmation that the Town Constable has satisfactorily completed the training courses specified in the Town Code and such other and additional training and instruction as the Town Board may direct in its discretion. 4, the Town Constable must provide the authorized firearm at his/her own cost. The Town Constable must execute and file in the office of the Clerk of Dutchess County an official undertaking condition for the faithful performance of his/her duties before entering upon the duties of his office as required by the town law. That the town supervisor and the town bookkeeper to the supervisor are hereby authorized and directed to file any and all documentation necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. I beat you that time, Vicki.
Supervisor Brody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revlard?
Yes.
Okay, has everyone had a chance to look at the highway garage feasibility study bids? I do have a letter from Ian, to Ian from Megan Chamberlain, who said, I have reviewed the proposal for engineering service for the design plans for a highway garage and salt shed. I believe Labella and Ty and Bond would be our best choices. Both seem to be more experienced with similar projects. However, Labella has shown they have more experience planning and constructing highway garages and salt sheds. Also, Dutchess County has used them for many projects.
And I spoke to John Andrews to get his advice, and I spoke to Pasquale Marchesi from Labella, who would be the project director, and to Brandy Nelson from Ty and Bond, who would be the project director there. And I felt pretty comfortable with all their answers. I agree with Megan that Ty and Bond, who we've had a successful relationship with on other projects, has less experience with highway garages than Labella. And despite the fact that I'm a little suspicious of the low bid out of 6, I think, having spoken to them, that that's a very viable bid, and that would be my recommendation, to go with Labella.
Brad,
I'm sorry?
do you have an opinion?
Yeah, no, I from our last meeting, which I don't have my notes, but I was kind of, same thing, Titan Bond and Labella. I mean, I thought that, you did more research on that than I did, but I remember we discussed it at the last meeting, and I was leaning in that direction.
I didn't realize that they had merged with Chazen, so Labella and Chazen, I guess, are now one and the same. I think Labella
took over Chazen, or absorbed Chazen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes, absorbed Chazen.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
they
there's a
do.
lot of, the examples that they're providing are not local. Victor, New York, Erie County.
Oh, I meant local in terms of being New York State, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I know Ty and Bond. I understand they're really good at working with communities, with, directly with our town board to understand what it is that we want, and I think that's really important. But I also know Chazen has put a lot of, understands our communities well. They've done work for us before. They know our particular community. I don't know these particular engineers. They don't register anything with me. So, but you did talk to our engineer, and he
said that of the choices, that he thought that that either Ty and Bond or Labella would be a good choice. He felt that Labella might have a sort of more local perspective than Ty and Bond.
Really?
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that too, but that's what he said.
Local stuff. Huh.
But he thought that either of those firms was a good choice.
Well, then I guess I would go with the low bid, given I don't have, and they have a lot of experience, obviously. This Labella has done a lot of highway garages. Hopefully ours will not be as expensive as some of the ones they
One would hope, yeah.
show off.
I mean, the other thing that was sort of interesting in reviewing all of these is that on some level, a highway garage is a highway garage is a highway garage. I mean, they're all metal panel buildings with metal frames. I mean, there's really not that much variation. I think what's important here is their gathering information from Megan and from her staff, probably in terms of what they actually do in there now, and kind of what their perspective is in terms of equipment they have. I know they've said 6 bays, but the trucks are different sizes. I know there's an issue about storage of plows and stuff like that. So it would be interesting to sort of, I think what's going to be really important is just the firm, is the kind of questions they ask and the way they work with the town board. So I agree with you on that.
And we are keeping the existing highway garage for storage.
Right, but I think we should see, I mean, that rec committee got all excited about having parking over there.
Well, they could park, it's just that they were, one of the things Megan mentioned, that they could store some of the plows in the building.
Okay.
If they took the electricity and,
Okay. But in any event, I think the point is that the process of gathering information and talking to people here is going to be the most important part. And I think, I don't know Labella. I know Labella has worked on the sidewalk project, but I don't know anyone there. I mean, Ty and Bond, we've worked with closely on wastewater, but presumably the person who would be in charge of it would be a different person. But I'm very happy with their work.
That's It's a significant difference
Yes, there is.
there,
But
So are
we found in the past that the initial bid sometimes isn't necessarily, well, we'll just see. The rail trail makes me very nervous about thinking that you're locked in at 19,000. Yeah, but you think that that's a feasible
Well,
number. We're not going to suddenly
I think
be
what's kind of
charged
strange
and
about-
charged and charged.
I think what's kind of strange about that is that they said that the 19,000 was a cap, that it was hourly up to that amount. So that sets a ceiling of $19,000. As to, whether there are going to be extra charges, I would hope not, because I think it's both the RFP and what they sent us as a proposal are pretty clear in terms of the scope that's included. So, I think I have enough construction supervision experience to kind of be able to evaluate any reasonable changes along the way to scope.
So are we agreed with Labella?
I'm fine with that, yeah. Vicki?
Yeah,
Are you?
yeah.
Okay, resolution number 54 of 2022, awarding contract for engineering services for feasibility study for a highway garage and salt storage facility. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia by resolution number 38, 2022, authorized the request for proposals to develop a new public works facility on newly acquired town property, which will include a town highway garage and salt storage facility. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia received proposals from qualified engineers to prepare a feasibility study and concept plan, which will conceptually show, along other things, the site layout, the building type, size and capacity, and preliminary construction budget for the construction of a new highway garage and salt storage facility. Whereas the Town Board received the following proposals: SM Design and Consulting PC, $103,705. Weston and Sampson, $56,150. Bergman, $37,500. GPI, Greenman, Peterson Incorporated, and the Architectural Collaborative, $29,600. TMB, which is Ty and Bond, Engineering and Landscape Architecture PC, $27,200, and Labella Associates, $19,000. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia has reviewed the proposals and determined that Labella submitted the lowest responsible bid and recommends that Labella be awarded the contract for engineering services for feasibility study for a highway garage and salt storage facility in the amount of $19,000. And whereas pursuant to 6 NY-CRR Part 617.5, C24, the preparation of a feasibility study which does not commit the town to undertake, fund, or approve any action listed in 6 NY-CRR Part 617 as a Type 1 or unlisted action is deemed a Type 2 action under the State and Environmental Quality Review Act, and therefore is not subject to review under seeker. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein. The Town Board has determined that this is a Type 2 action under seeker and therefore not subject to review under seeker. The Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby awards the engineering services for a feasibility study for a highway garage and salt storage facility to Labella. The Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby authorize and direct the payment for such feasibility study from Engineers CE budget line 14404.01 in accordance with the, what budget proposal? Accordance with the proposal annexed here too. The Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute a contract for such services after reviewed by the attorney to the town in accordance with the annexed proposal. Is there a motion?
I'll move to go ahead with that resolution.
and I'll second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
And Revelard?
Yes.
Okay, the resolution authorizing required water district inventory for lead service sign investigation, we're going to table to the next meeting. Resolution for July transfer of funds, what am I
I'm
at?
sorry, Victoria, do we have a number, an estimate for the water district work, the lead study?
Yes,
Okay.
but we have to figure out how to pay for it.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we knew the number.
Yeah.
So wouldn't the American Rescue Funds be the obvious choice, or am I?
No, it wouldn't qualify for that because it's
Not
due-
infrastructure?
Yeah, it's an inventory of existing lines. If we were going to,
Replace them?
yeah,
I see. They won't do an inventory.
no. Resolution, we at 55?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Make sure I was on the right number. Transfer of funds for July 2022. Whereas the town board has the authority to transfer funds when necessary unanticipated to amend the budget. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund increasing revenue line 3005.01 state aid mortgage tax by $10,000 and increasing expense line 13554.01.044 assessor CE certificates by $10,000 for unanticipated legal costs. Whereas budget amendment, the general fund increasing expense line 13804.01 fiscal agent fees by $1,362 and decreasing expense line 19004.01.049 special items contingency by $693.52 and decreasing expense line 13104.01.040 Director of Finance CE account support by $668.48 for Old Amenia Landfill M&T Bank long-term debt administrative fee. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund increasing revenue line 2260.01 public safety services other by $242.18 and increasing expense line 30204.01 public safety commercial services by $242.18 for Dutchess County Sheriff Services Congregation Beth David payment. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board authorizes a transfer of necessary budget lines to process the transactions. And I make that motion.
I'll second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revlord?
Yes.
And now at long last, Wassaic charcoal kilns discussion. Ian, do you want to? The charcoal kilns? Because we both, when researching this, you have quite a bit of, I gave you information that was given to me by the Historical Society. These are charcoal kilns, are a historical artifact in the town of Amenia that is currently on property owned by Deep Hollow Game Preserves, LLC. And it's in the RA zone. And the owner of the property would like to gift the charcoal kilns to the town or the county. And I actually had a conference call with the county and found out from Brad Kendall that there's actually a conservation easement on the property, and he sent me a copy of that, and I believe you have it in your packet. So from what I understand, that it's 0.29 acres, the charcoal kiln. The owner doesn't have to do a subdivision, he can just gift the 0.29 acres, but the town needs to decide if they want them. Through my discussions with the county, they were hesitant to take them because they said most of the historical sites that they take care of are part of their park system. And also, told me they didn't have the staff to handle maintenance. So they said, you know, if they took them, they wanted the town to do the maintenance. But Ian and I were looking at the Duchess Land Conservancy conservation easement, and it looks like the Duchess Land Conservancy had some things that they were required to do with the property. Ian, did you want to,
Sure.
and bring the microphone up closer?
So I had a chance to review the conservation easement today. It's pretty detailed as to what the Duchess Land Conservancy is responsible to do. This was put into place with the prior owner, Alan Shop or Shope. There's been apparently some transfers of that land in that time. It's a .29 acre lot. There is a description in here as to what that lot is. So to me, that lot is already designated, which if it's not, and it's not a separate parcel, then there may have to be a subdivision. But from what I'm seeing here, it doesn't appear to be that. So, so they wouldn't have to do that, but we'd have to look into what this description is here, the meets and bounds.
Because the conservation easement follows the ownership.
Correct. This conservation easement runs with the land, so any transfer of the land, all the restrictions in here would run with the land. It sets forth all the restrictions applicable to the property with regards to subdivision use, permitted structures, driveways and utilities and roads, putting up fences, chemicals to be used on the property, maintaining of the trees, pipelines and mining and landfills, trails on the property. It's a pretty detailed easement. So a couple questions that remain right now are one, what exactly is the Duchess Land Conservancy doing on the property?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What exactly the Duchess Land Conservancy is doing on the property? If this agreement here that I have was was recorded in '97, we'd have to see if this is still valid, still in existence.
Yeah, because there's actual maintenance requirements that they were supposed to take care of there.
Correct. So if the town is looking to take this property that has the kilns on it, it could be gifted to the town. The town could accept that gift. And if this is in fact in place and has been superseded by any other agreement that may exist or may not exist, then it seems like the maintenance of this would be handled by the Duchess Land Conservancy. Okay. That's some of the investigation that needs to take place yet. And
did you want to address? Yeah, could you come up to the microphone? And that's good. We have someone from the Amenia Historical Society here.
I'm Julian Strauss from the Amenia Historical Society, and I wasn't expected to make a presentation tonight, but I did want to tell you that I was at the site this afternoon and took these photos, or my wife took the photos, but it shows that work is actually being done, has been performed on the site for the last month, and I would just like to pass this image around.
Oh, sure.
So people can get an idea of the work that is in process, being done.
Not by the Conservancy, by the owner, right? Not by the
Conservancy, by Bernie Layton, who is a manager for the estate, or for the owner. And so, you know, it's just to encourage the thinking of the board positively about this project. I just want to point out a thumbnail historical facts about this particular site. These are one of a kind in the nation of kilns that were produced for the purpose of making charcoal, which is one of the critical ingredients for making iron, processing iron ore. And that I just want to remind you that Wasake was the home of Mr. Gridley, who established a furnace and had these kilns built to make charcoal for that furnace. And just to give you a historical perspective, this is part of what's known as the Salisbury Iron District, which was the number one iron producing area in the country before the Revolutionary War, during the Revolutionary War, through 1812, through the Civil War. So this was basically, these kilns are representative, they're icons of the historicity of Amenia. The railroad, Borden's, the mill, the history of this town is tied up in those icons, and that's pretty much all I have to say. If you have any questions about the historicity of these kilns, you're welcome to come and visit us any Tuesday or Thursday.
The only questions we have right now are the relationship of the conservation easement and their requirements, which Ian is going to find out.
I understand that, but I just want to encourage positive thought about this idea. Thank you.
Okay, well, I want to say that I think there's no question that this shouldn't remain in private hands anymore, that this is something that should be accessible to the public. It is incredibly important historically, architecturally. It is about the economic development of the town, and I think that we need to be sure that they get preserved. So I think the town should figure out how to take them on and make sure that they're kept accessible and standing and clear and all that stuff.
I would like to say, mission accomplished, we're encouraged.
So do we need a motion to authorize you to get the information we need to do this, or?
I don't think we need to make a motion for it now. I can make the phone calls and inquire as to what the, what Dutchess Land Conservancy is doing, and I'll make a phone call to the owner of the property and find out the background of what has to be done to see.
And we'd have to do this by resolution,
You would have to accept this by resolution, correct?
by next meeting, so we could do that if you have all the answers you need.
I don't
Or
want
do you want to do it on the 18th?
I would have to look into all of this first and see what information we have and see if there's any other legal implications that would
Okay,
affect
because I
that
already
timeframe.
sent the information to Byron Barnes to see what, there's any,
I saw that for the insurance.
insurance.
Yes, yep.
So Byron's aware of it too, and he has because I sent him, this information that the Historical Society was, so kind to give me so I could give, to read about the history and, and see how important this is to the town of Amenia. So, we can look at it, everything to, related to it and see how we need to do this, if everyone agrees.
I agree.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, I don't have any other matters. Town board comments?
I just have one. I've been getting some calls from residents of Wassaic that apparently a large truck sort of zoomed through there and took down some electric lines over the weekend. I actually saw several trucks like that on Old Route 22. I think they were delivering cars to Lime Rock. It was a racing car transport company. But several people had suggested that there might be a way to make it clear with signage, either speed limits, speed bumps, or at least directing large trucks not to go down.
Well, that's something the county would have to do?
It's complicated because some of the streets are county streets and some are actually are town streets. I think the ones that go through down into Wassaic are actually the town's responsibility, not the county. But I mean, I had suggested that what they should do is make a list of suggestions that they can send us, and then we can try to figure
Well,
out.
I can check with the county to see. I know the state police were called, and the fire department was there.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is that most trucks would be directed by their GPS system or by Google, and they would go down, what is that street? Why can't I think of it?
Furnace Bend.
Nelson
Furnace
Road?
Bend.
That
yeah.
if they
Furnace
didn't
But they
come
don't go
down.
down,
They didn't come down there.
they were heading up there.
They were heading up
Right.
there.
And what isn't clear, I heard this from Sharon Kroger and I heard this from Tonya, is that it isn't clear that it's a very difficult route, especially that part, for trucks to get through the town, through the hamlet. And,
Well,
you know, there isn't signage.
we can look into signage.
Yeah, I think
You know,
it's really
better
necessary.
signage if we need to.
Yeah, because it really, like, we could direct people down Nelson Hill from 22 if the county was okay with that.
I think it's tricky because, you know, Sharon has trucks that need to service her business.
Well,
and-
Pauling Corp does
And
too.
Pauling Corp, and, you know, we have big trucks that have to access the businesses down there. So you blanket, you know, we can't just say no trucks like we did on Westlake Amenia Road, but I think something of a certain height or weight or something.
Yeah.
I know with horse trailers, we've been worried, you know, about either going under the bridge or curving through town, how much those curves would work.
Well, I think this truck had vehicles on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very
Tall,
big
It was-
truck. 'cause I
and
think
It was,
it's-
you know,
Square,
said some
yeah.
kind of vehicles and.
But I agree, Vicki. I mean, I think the way it is
Has to be
done
done
has
carefully, yeah.
has to be done carefully. But I also think that the same as the railroad overpass near my house.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
has to
trucks
be-
are being directed that way just by Google, and they don't know,
don't
and there's
fit.
no signage to warn them what the height is until they're at the bridge. So
Right.
again,
And then
I
they're
think that-
stuck.
And then they get stuck,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that may just be signage issues. I think those are pretty easy to solve, but I'll follow up. I believe that Sharon has written some sort of treatise on the subject, so I will call her and see what she's got. Okay.
Okay.
I have a basic question that I can follow up later, but on this unified solar permit, back to getting points for the town for climate smart communities, we need to provide a permit that matches the unified solar permit law that we included. Well, we included that portion in our zoning laws, but we don't have a specific permit yet, and there's a template for it. How do we get a new permit through the building departments? Because right now,
We can
there
add it
is-
to their fee schedule.
they just give them a general permit for the roof, and there's no box to indicate there's a solar mount. As for ground mate, you know, what we need to do, and there is a template. Okay, so you think we just need to give it to the building department and say, here's what you
No, I need to
do?
give it to Ian. We need to
Okay.
vote on
As I
it.
recall, the code specifically references for a residential application, solar panels on your roof, all you need to do is submit the New York State permit.
So
But
That's
I
it.
think that maybe it's just that the town, the
the
building
building
department
just doesn't
those.
have the
I
template.
think that's the issue.
So it's already in our law.
It's
that we
in our law, and
We
I
just need to provide.
we were talking about this a while ago, and I had sent an
Yeah.
and I sent an email. It's right in our law already. We should.
That's right.
yeah.
I thought we were done and we crossed it off
Yeah,
our
me
list.
too.
But when she went to get the permit from the building department to submit to the portal to say, yes, we've done it,
no.
they're like, this is the
Okay.
permit we have, and it's a regular building permit for roofs. You know, it's not the unified. So all I have to do is give this template to the building department and say, this is.
Yes, and they'll have some made up.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that's.
Yeah, and I'll double check the code for you. I'll take a look at that.
You already
and-
wrote it all up. I
Yeah.
knew that we had done it. It's in there.
Yeah, you just need to give it to
We
the
just
building
need the
department. And if we
permit.
need
Yeah,
to,
I'm pretty sure, I mean, I haven't looked at
order
the
them.
law in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that for
Is it a
for residential
one-page
use like
thing?
that, it's just
It's
the
a
New York
one-page
State.
we
simple
were-
thing.
I-
That's the
we
whole
were aware
idea.
of it at the time.
Yeah.
when
It's
that
To
was
make it
developed.
simple.
Yeah.
And so
Because it
it's
included
simple.
everything in our permit. Essentially, the New York State permit would include anything and everything that was required from the town.
Yeah.
So by filling that out, you would actually complete any requirement that the town had at the time.
well, I think we can check there to see if they may already have it and not using it. I think we
He
need to.
says he doesn't have it. He says no
Who?
such thing exists. Mike Segelkin.
Um,
I spoke with Mike Segelkin, asked if I could get a copy of the unified solar permit that the town uses. He told me there is no such thing. They use a standard general permit for the roof mount. There is no box to indicate there is a solar mount. So it's not a one, they are not using the unified solar permit.
So do you have a copy of the template
Yes.
there? Good, send it to them.
Okay.
Because, I mean, basically, we have to follow New York State law, and New York State law on solar has said that everyone in New York State has to use the same permit, so that
And
there's no
send it
questions.
to
It's easy.
building department, Mike and Tom,
Okay.
all three of them.
Okay. Thank you. So that's
I
done.
would also send him the code section, so he has it.
To what?
Oh, that's a good
The
idea.
actual solar code section, so he has
Because
it.
it does refer to that.
It states it specifically in the code.
Solar code. Okay. Let's see now. The other thing I had was, I had a call from Megan from the Highway Department, and she says that there are 2 citizens who are interested in removing the black forest spruce and the maple that are on the raised park across from Lantern Inn. So the black forest spruce we planted 10 years ago as our Christmas tree, and it's diseased like many of our evergreens. Don't know what the disease is, but it's 3/4 dying. It's dying at a very rapid rate, and the maple next to it has been interfering with the flag and the flagpole. It rips the flag on a regular basis because the leaves and the branches get in the way, even though it's been pruned. It was also struck by lightning maybe 5 years ago, and it is also suffering from rotting, and it doesn't have a long lifespan either. It's in better shape than the evergreen, but they propose, these 2 citizens, getting rid of those 2 trees and then having a new Christmas tree, 1 Christmas tree in that raised park, so that it is a nice one big Christmas tree eventually. But I suggested that they start with a 6-footer or 10-footer so that it's easier to decorate. But anyway.
Who's taking the other ones down, if they're taking them down? Have they had anybody,
No estimates have been made. They are, I think, one is Donnie Cummings and the other is, can't remember the second
has
person.
anybody looked at the tree to see if it can be saved?
There, you just
The
look at the tree
evergreen?
and you can just see it's 3/4 dead, so it's not going to make it much further.
Okay, so what do they want? They want to take them
They
down?
want to take the 2 down and replace it. They think
Who's taking them down?
well, Megan has a contract with Lee's
Lee's.
Trees to pay no more than $1,800 a day. So I would suggest that's probably your cheapest price to get probably both trees down. And it would only be when they are next doing that kind of work.
Is that
So-
walled enclosure town property? Who owns that?
That is, it's within our kind of right-of-way, so we've been maintaining those roads for 1,000,000 years. And as
Okay.
far as I can tell, that is the town's responsibility.
We should determine that before we make any decision on removing a tree.
Yeah, I would also say that we should have some say in what goes back in there, because that area is incredibly hot in the sun, and a Christmas tree isn't going to provide a shade. You can't get underneath a Christmas tree. So I think it might be worth,
Thinking about this.
having,
Somebody else take a look at it. So in the past, we've used Andy Durbridge, who has helped us do the Borden Park trees,
Right.
those hawthorns and such, maybe he would be available to advise us on
I just think it's
what
worth,
should
yeah,
go.
worth talking about what the specific plantings are, because it's not hugely successful the way it is now, and maybe there's a better solution, but I'm mostly concerned about shade, because it's a very large paved area with not much coverage.
Okay,
Green
I
coverage, shade
can
coverage.
ask for some professional advice there and see what they say. And I don't think there's any rush to get this done, but I don't know that that Christmas tree will be appropriate for this Christmas lighting. I don't know.
I mean, based on
I'll get a professional to look at it and say what the lifespan is on that thing.
Okay, that would be great.
But meanwhile, I'll tell you, we have looked at the ownership there because we put the lights along the railroad tracks a while back, and there's no deed for that particular slice of no man's land there. And what I believe we decided was that that is ours by dane of the fact that we maintain the road and its right-of-way and the little circular driving area and parking area. So I believe we ascertained that when we put in the 7 historic lights. We wouldn't have been able to use CDBG funds if we didn't feel we were the owners of that property. But I agree, fine, to go back and make sure again, but I don't believe we would have installed lighting structures with a grant without knowing that it was pretty much ours. But we don't have a deed for it. I can tell, as I recall, it's just this right of way.
If this was done before, would there have been records, memos, something to that effect? 'Cause that would really
I think they
expedite
went
the
back to the
decision-making.
highway, the old
Yeah.
highway people, and I don't know that they ever concluded, we don't have a quitclaim deed, we don't have anything as far as I remember. But that 2007 installation of those historic lights, we went through this whole exercise.
So the bottom line is the 2 trees need to come down?
I think that's their recommendation, but I'll get a professional to take a look at it. We have a lot of good people in the area.
Yes, we do. I'm just again concerned that someone should, since
Look at
it's
it.
town property, that someone authorized by the town should kind of consider what to replace those trees with,
Okay.
that's all.
That's good.
And Vicki, you should also know that I did go over to visit Megan and look at the pole, the historic light pole.
Oh,
But I just
thank
haven't been able to get back to it. I took the information, so I will eventually.
Leo, thank you. He's going to look into repairing a busted light.
Well, the light's gone.
The light is not gone. It is, Megan has it
at
in
the
the
highway garage.
highway garage. It needs a replaced stem. And Leo's going to try and find a part for it because apparently,
Well, we had
can be
it
found.
sealed years
sorry,
ago.
you had-
When it broke off.
Yeah.
We had an electrician seal it,
yeah, but we can
so the
unseal
water
it.
didn't get
Oh, on
in
the,
it.
you mean
Yeah,
the
yeah,
part
yeah.
that
They
remains?
capped it off.
Yes.
but We can uncap it.
Yeah, I think it's
No,
a
I'm
matter-
saying, I'm just telling you, it is capped. So you would have, if you wanted to replace something there, someone would have to uncap it.
Yeah, it's really just a matter of finding the right shaped pole, which I think can be done. I just haven't
Yeah,
been back to it.
yeah. The other, last thing I have is that the Recreation Commission, I'm sorry, I didn't say anything about it, but they are excited about getting a new pitching machine. And I realize that Learn, Play, Create sounds like a very good match for this. It's about $2,000. And it's a one-pager, and the Little League has a nonprofit status. They got their 501c3. So I don't see why we couldn't ask for $2,000
I
from
think
Learn,
this,
Play,
the
Create.
second, I think it's past the time, because there were 2 applications, and the second one, I think maybe it isn't over yet, but the second one is due sometime in July for them.
Is, for Learn,
You
Play,
know?
Create
Yes.
grant?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's already past the deadline?
I don't, well, their second The second one that they're doing is sometime in July. I'll go back through my emails
I
and
think it's
find
still
it.
possible to submit grants.
You can't, you only submit grants is when the money's there.
Why don't we ask Deidre if she knows the
Deirdre, can you
date?
explain when the grant deadline is?
So I can tell you when we funded it in the beginning of the year. I can tell you when we funded it at the beginning of the year, we specifically set up 2 tranches of money. The first monies were applied for and spent. It's based on how many applications they get in the second round. I don't believe it has a closing deadline until the money is spent. Now, they may have closed it because they did get enough applications in, but I'm certainly happy to check with the planning department tomorrow and find out and get right back to you tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds good.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well, the last thing I got in an email from regarding that said that there was, the closing date was sometime in July for the second tranche.
Okay, maybe they had an expectation. I'll
Just
reach
let
out to
me know.
planning department tomorrow and find out for you tomorrow
If
morning.
it's over, it's over, yeah.
Okay, but otherwise, it's a great,
But
great opportunity.
that's a good thing for them to apply
Yeah,
for.
I don't know why we wouldn't use that if we had an option for that. That's all I have. Oh,
Yeah.
I will just reiterate, Saturday, July 30th, here at the Town Hall is the Amenia Housing Board putting together a little workshop. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. You can come in, learn a few statistics, the results of our survey, understand what we're planning and what's new for affordable housing, houses we can all afford, and ways that you could help make this possible. Because there's a lot of exciting opportunities in Amenia, but we need everyone to get on board and help us promote those kind of opportunities.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other town board comments? If not, I make a motion that we go into executive session for legal advice on a threatened litigation and employment history of a particular person.
Ooh, that sounds dire. I'll second.
Oh, my God.
She's not done with her motion, and you were so excited to second it.
Oh, you weren't? Oh.
And the
Wait.
town clerk is excused.
Oh! I thought that went without saying, Dawn Marie, but
No,
whatever.
I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah, I have
and
to
because she's going to invite somebody too, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
You're not inviting the town attorney?
Yes, the town attorney. Hey,
I know.
That was very confusing.
go into executive session with the town attorney and the town clerk is excused.
Thank you, and you're taking the minutes. Oh, I just keep going.
And for legal advice on threatened litigation and employment history of...
And Blackman. Sorry, I get so excited to leave. Supervisor Brody, Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Revlard,
Yes.
Blackman.
Not if you're not going to be here. Yes. Of course.
Okay, it's 8:55. Enjoy your meeting, guys.
Thank you.